Welcome, one and all, to Resident Evil Zero Remastered. This is going to be kind of interesting because I test drove this game a couple nights ago, and they actually changed how it feels from Remake to Zero, and they changed the controls. Oh my gosh. Some are for the better, some I'll have to get used to. It's mainly the switching of the characters and just figuring out how to do it all. I will be doing the old-fashioned control scheme because they also added a brand new control scheme, which means they made it so that you're constantly running, and the way your control stick is going is where your character's going. So let's say I move it down. It's kind of like faux tank controls. So see if you can imagine this if you're looking at a controller yourself. Resident Evil Zero Remastered and Resident Evil Remake Remastered added the control scheme to where if you're pointing down with your control stick, you're going down. It's no longer tank controls, where if you want your person to go forward, if your character's pointing towards that direction, you push up. So it's really weird to explain faux tank controls between tank controls. I'll also be showing off the new costumes that Resident Evil Zero Remastered has. It has a lot of them. Capcom's dishing out for money. They're trying to get as much as they can before Resident Evil 2 Remake comes out, which I can't wait for. Let me check the options. And let me show you how complex these controls get. Now, imagine all of this on a GameCube controller, and somehow it works better than putting it on an Xbox controller. Because with the GameCube, you had a lot of buttons that were within close proximity, not just the A, B, X, Y buttons. You just had... everything felt better. And it also helps that I think the GameCube is lacking one button than what the Xbox One controller has. Because all the newer systems have four buttons on top, the face buttons, and then start and select or something like that. So... extra buttons. Oh boy. Let's see if we can play Resident Evil 0. And look how many types there are. 5 different types. And it can still get confusing. Let's stick with type A. Let me take a look. Yeah, we'll have everything blaring. Why not? One thing they also added, and this was in Remake as well, the ability to play in widescreen or original screen, a 4:3 ratio as opposed to a 16:9. I'm going to be going widescreen just so you can see everything, and it looks a lot prettier. The one thing I will, and this is something I complained about in Resident Evil Remake Remastered, is the camera bob. Because they couldn't just make it widescreen, the camera is actually going to move up and down to adjust to where your character is. Now, if you're playing original, you don't have to worry about that, but you're also getting a condensed screen, and it looks bad. So we're going to hit up widescreen because it looks so nice. And please bear with me as I try to get used to these controls again. It's been a long time since I've played Resident Evil 0. The last time I played it was for the Let's Play, which was 3+ years ago, maybe 4. So, let's go. Yeah, for the sake of this playthrough.
Resident Evil 0.
Here is the only time you can change your control type as far as the faux tank controls and the original tank controls. I'm going to go for original because I'm old school like that, and I don't like the faux tank controls, really. I tried it out, and it was not working for me. So we're going to go old-fashioned. This means I need to hold down B to run. If you're going with the alternate control style, you don't have to worry about that. Your character will be constantly running.
A Midwestern town in America, Raccoon City.
Enjoy the
solemn
solemn tones of the narrator as he tells you the backstory of Raccoon City.
The second Raccoon City, Sheena Island. There are still many unanswered questions about these seemingly unrelated yet intensely traumatic events. Though it is believed that the international enterprise umbrella was somehow involved, little is known as to the origin of this faceless corporation. When was it established? By whom? And how was the T-virus created? To uncover the truth, we must delve deeper into the events which transpired in the beginning, before the mansion incident.
I actually do love the setup of this game. Just having the first part be on a train was a brilliant change.
Do you think so?
And then they went into the mansion part, and then, well, you'll see what I mean. I also really like the setup and kind of the main monsters. They're not fun to fight, but just the fact that leeches cause zombieism, really good idea. At least I think. Everything else is kind of crap.
Nothing in our training could ever have prepared us for the nightmare that ensued. We never stood a chance.
What's going on? Engine failure. Emergency landing.
Check the current position and investigate the surrounding area.
Captain, look!
I noticed STARS always tends to hire rookies. Rebecca could not have been in STARS that long before she went on this mission.
Captain!
What happened?
Court order for transportation. Prisoner Billy Cohen.
Alright, Billy! The only game you've been in, and the only game you will ever be in, until you're forgotten to history.
Prisoners to be transferred to the Regathon base for execution.
Those poor soldiers. They were good men just doing their jobs, and that scum murdered them and escaped.
All right, everyone, let's separate and survey the area. Our friend is brutal and ruthless. Keep your guard up.
A train?
The door to safety is shut. There is no turning back. So hi, welcome everybody to Resident Evil 0 Remastered. This was already a gorgeous looking game on the GameCube, and they actually redid a lot of the models and gave it that HD shine. So this game is looking really good. Now, if you were playing alternate mode, you'll see Rebecca running everywhere, but me, I have to hold down the B button. We won't be going, I'm going to see if I can play through the entire game in one night. Makes sense. I'm the Resident Evil guy. Now, if I remember right, yeah, holding down right bumper lets me aim. Shulkers don't do anything yet, except for left trigger. That shows you your map. Let me see. Regular pause button. Select doesn't do anything yet. X is inventory. That's going to be the weird one. It was the same button on the GameCube, but I'm so used to a GameCube controller. But these portraits that our characters are going to have are also different because of the new models. And normally, you would just have the personal items. Rebecca's good at healing. Billy has the lighter, so he's going to be lighting things on fire. And we actually now have the option to switch. We can now go to a costume changer. So if we go into the suitcase, we can now choose all the different costumes. So, for example, this is Rebecca's original costume from the first Resident Evil game. This is from Director's Cut. This is the special costume you got, I believe, in the alternate mode. Don't quote me on that. This is the sportswear costume. I actually tweeted about this because it was so freaking clever. In Resident Evil 2, if you examine Wesker's desk 50 times, you get a roll of film. Develop that film, you'll see a picture of Rebecca wearing this. Here's the cheerleader uniform. I was actually right about it before the game even came out. The alternate costume you get for Resident Evil Deadly Silence, for beating Rebirth mode and getting the closet key. Western is from the first Resident Evil game. And Leather and Western, these are actually two costumes that you can originally unlock in Zero, but Leather is a Resident Evil Zero specific costume. And I had no idea. I haven't played Mercenaries 3D, but apparently you can unlock this costume. And this I also didn't know. Back in the day, when they were trying to make Resident Evil Zero for the N64 and older consoles, this is what Rebecca would have looked like. And then they went with the costume they have now. Now, I actually have all of the costumes except for the special one that you had to reserve it on the Xbox for. Hopefully they'll release that later on because it's a special contest T-shirt. I don't think I'll be getting it, so it's not that big of a loss. Well, you know what? Let's just... screw it. Let's use a costume I've never used before. Hello there. Now, I love this. The costume doesn't have its own physics, so you're going to see Rebecca's arms just clipping through everything. And another cool note, if it's not a CG cutscene, all the characters will have their regular costumes on for smaller cutscenes.
This is Officer Chambers from STARS Bravo team. Please identify yourself. Is someone there?
The government has announced that it has set out to have our promise. But as of 2 years ago, when several plans were set up, the local government stepped in and took over.
Now, if you were speedrunning this game, you would just take out this guy and then run. But if you turn around and kill the rest of these guys... hold on a sec. If you actually take out all the zombies in this first part of the train, you get a special cutscene.
What just happened? I thought they were dead.
It's not that big of a deal, but it's there. Now, for those of you who have played this, I'm not sure how many people in this chat have played this, but the original Resident Evil Zero did not have a reload button. It now has a reload button. Normally, you would just wait till your clip ran out, or you would just go into your inventory and then combine bullets with gun. But I don't remember Resident Evil Zero having a quick reload button. So, if it was added, it was a brilliant change. I agree. Playing through Bayonetta 1 with all those alternate costumes is hilarious. I love it. Haven't played through Bayonetta 2 yet. I am so close to beating Bayonetta 1. So as soon as I beat that, I need to go on to 2. I really need to get to that. Another thing they added to Remastered, it's kind of goes without saying, but they redid all the text to make it legible and not blurry. And they also made it, like, fly by quickly. It's like, bam, 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 look at all that. A crustacean T-virus. Whoa. I think at different parts of the game I'll switch costumes. Be sure to check everywhere if memory serves me right. Yeah, an ink ribbon. This is going to be like re-experiencing the game for the first time again. This is going to be weird, because I know the train segment, but as soon as I get to the mansion, I'll probably be running around in circles at some points, just trying to recall everything. Something exclusive, possibly, to Resident Evil 0 is actually the ability to put down items to pick up for later. I think in other... It's 4 and 5, I believe, and 6. Not exactly sure, I didn't play much of 6, but at least I know for a fact in this one, you can just leave something on the ground and it won't go away. That was the things that really made me mad in Resident Evil 5, is you just couldn't put down ammo and then pick it up later. Once you put it on the ground, it just evaporated. But not anymore. Or at least, not in the past. Back in the day, you could just put stuff down. Very, very helpful, especially with item management. And the fact that as soon as we get to the mansion, there's going to be the main floor, or as I like to call it, item placement. I'm just going to basically empty my pockets as soon as we get into the mansion. Yeah, just humor the game.